know the difference between a debt junk buyer and a debt collector? There is a difference. And do you know where do you stand when one or the other sends you a letter? This is Blind Intelligence. I am your host, Foresight. This is Blind Intelligence, where the rules and the rights and the responsibilities put you back in control. And this is not legal advice. I do not offer legal advice. This is not financial advice. I do not offer financial advice. If you would like legal advice and financial advice, I suggest you find yourself a competent professional. And by all means, please be advised. What I'm about to say here is strictly for education and information purposes only. And the views and opinions of Blind Intelligence does not reflect the views and opinions of any host, any platform that hosts Blind Intelligence. So, back to what we're saying. As a consumer, when a debt junk buyer sends you a letter, or a debt collector sends you a letter, how do you know the difference? Do you know the difference when these suckers send you a letter? Because they both going to, one of them going to say collecting on a debt or collecting on behalf of a, this is a debt collection. This is a debt collector collecting on behalf of a debt. This is a debt collector collecting on behalf of a debt. They all say it. Now, the debt junk buyer, let's go into the debt junk buyer deal. The debt junk buyer is like LVNV, portfolio recovery. Those are debt junk buyers. What they do is when the creditor charges off the debt, they zero out the account because they put it in non-pay status. That debt junk buyer comes and picks them up for pennies on the dollar. Get a whole portfolio of different people who owe that went into non-pay status. Then they picks it up for pennies on the dollar with the balances and everything, and then they come after you. They come after you. And they'll send you letters in the mail, and then depending on you as a consumer, whether you answer them or you don't answer them, that's, of course, that's totally up to you, but that's going to determine, what they do. A lot of times they're going to send you, they're going to take you to court. They're going to send a summons out. The sheriff's going to come, knock on your door, ring your doorbell, whatever the case may be. Most of the time they're going to knock on your door, and then they're going to give you the summons for you to come to court. That's because you didn't answer the letter. Then, or you answer the letter, you know your stuff, you understand what the Fair Debt Collection Practices Acts are, you know what your rights are, because they, believe me when I tell you, they hate you if you know your rights. They hate you. They can't stand you. So you got them tied up. They want to take you to court. They want to take you to court. Because if they take you to court, 10 times out of 10 they know they're gonna win. Because either you're gonna show up and not know what to say and get a judgment, or you're not gonna show up and still get a judgment. Then they're gonna garnish your wages if you are a W-2 employee. And that's how that ball rolls with the debt junk buyer. they want to take you to court. Now the debt collector is is a total is on another level. They'll send you some letters, this, that, whatever, but they can't really do too much unless they have total autonomy from the creditor, and the creditor is taking you to court. Now that's a whole nother monster. But normally when it goes into non-pay status or whatever, the debt junk buyers won't pick it up. But the debt collector, he is working, but let me say this. You just because he a debt collector collecting on behalf of that creditor, they still got to fall up on. They still got to abide by the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act. That's a fact. And you can go read that, all of them, because they have to validate, and not only that, in the way they have to validate, they got to validate that they have the assignment from the creditor. Me, I'm gonna do my due diligence. I'm gonna call the creditor and I'm gonna verify it. I'm gonna have the creditor verify it. Then you can like I said, then you can talk to them. Yeah, this is we assigned so and so debt collector to collect this debt. Some of them may talk to you, some of them may not. But I'm not finna fork over no money until somebody show me some proof. It's not what you know, it's what you can prove. I'm not finna tell them, I'm not finna say to that debt junk buyer, not debt junk buyer, but that debt collector, oh, I'm finna give you some money, and that creditor don't know. That could be a debt junk buyer. That's the reason why the law is there. That's the reason why the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, because they all have to fall up under that umbrella. And they all have to bow down to it. And they have to cease and desist communications until they're able to validate that debt. A lot of them, when you start giving them problems, guess what they do? They send it right back to the creditor. Nah, you deal with it. I can't get none out this guy. I can't get none out this guy. But let me say this. My videos, by no way, shape, form, or fashion, is to somehow get you to say, I'm not going to pay. No, I'm not telling you not to pay your bills. Pay your bills. Pay your bills. But pay your bills, but understand what your rights are. That's what this is. Do not let them take advantage of you because you don't know what your rights are. Before you pay them, I want to pay you. I got the bread to pay you. But first, I need to know who you are. You understand what I'm saying? I want to know who you are. I'm not finna put no bread in your hand and then they gonna come after me. They gonna double dip and come and say, nah, we don't know who that is. That's not gonna happen. Not with me. That is not gonna happen. So, and that's the reason why I tell you, know what your rights are. But pay your bills. I'm telling you, you got the bread. Look, let me tell you something. You borrowed the money. You borrowed it. Pay it. Pay your bills. But you got to know the difference between these debt junk buyers. Because I'm not finna pay no debt junk buyer. I'm not finna pay a debt junk buyer. And he can't prove anything. He got no standing. Why would you do that? Why would you pay a debt junk buyer? Because if you pay a debt junk buyer, the creditor just may come after you. Now, the debt junk buyer, you challenge. You really put forth a challenge. Not refusal. It's not refusal. You don't, look, this is not a refusal. You don't sit there and fold your arms like a kid and say, to hell with you, I'm not doing nothing with you because I know who you are. Mm-mm. You deal with them legally. You dealing with that paperwork. They send you a letter, take that letter out, read it, flip that sucker on the back, and tell them, say, write them a letter, say, put it in blue ink, and tell them, say, validate this debt under the Fair Debt Collection Practice Act of 15 USC 1692G, and cease all communications until you do. Sign it in red ink. Send it right back to them. Don't get no 8.5 by. Don't get your own 8.5 by 11. Use theirs, but get your own envelope. Get your own envelope and send it back to them. Make a copy of it. Send them the original. Get a certified mail. Put it in certified mail. Get return receipt. When you get that 3811 card in the mail, staple it to that copy of that letter and put it away. Because you don't know what these jokers is going to do. This is called doing your due diligence and staying on top of your game, staying in honor. This is how you stay in honor. I'm like I said, I'm not promoting not paying nobody, but a debt junk buyer, know what your rights are. Know what your rights are. I'm not paying no debt junk buyer. And I suggest you not fork over your Federal Reserve notes either on this note, because until they validate the debt. And they ain't gonna do it. The debt junk buyer is not gonna do it. Now, if the debt collector validates this debt, we handle our business. All right, no problem. No problem. Here's your bread. You know what I'm saying? Send it to me in writing. Everything comes in writing. I want you, first of all, I'm going to call the creditor up, and if I owe something, if I can negotiate something with that creditor after it has went into after it's been charged off, if I negotiate something with that creditor, if I owe $2,000 and I'm going to negotiate, if I can negotiate $500, and they send it to me in writing, and I'll send you a check. This is how you do business. This is how you do business. You don't sit back and refuse. You don't go into dishonor. Because they take you to court, the judge going to say everything you done did. You didn't answer this. You didn't answer the debt collector. You didn't do none of this stuff when they sent you. So it was assumed. What? What does that letter say? If you don't answer us, we're going to assume that you owe this debt. All of them say it. ALL. All of them say it. This is why I say you need to know what your rights are and know how to fight. Because if you don't, they're going to assume that this debt is valid. That's how they get you. Assumptions and presumptions in this color of law. This is Bond Intelligence. Look, subscribe to my channel. I got some more source for you. And please give me a like and subscribe. And do all the necessary things. I want to thank you for watching.